Hi, welcome to another video on the Worx electric lawnmower. This is going to be a quick overview of its cutting ability on the first cut of the year. I would normally use my petrol lawnmower for this and my petrol strimmer, but I thought I'd just give the battery powered one a go. I suspect it'll use a couple of battery packs, and I'm not going to be picking up the grass. Normally with my first cut I will cut the grass and just let it all deposit on the lawn, and then after a couple of days when it's dried out I'll go back over and kind of use the lawnmower as a vacuum cleaner to vacuum up the dried grass. So just bear with me, I will see what it's like. It's a bit windy today, but the lawn is dryish, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to use the strimmer around the edges first, and then I'm going to see how far I get through the lawn, bearing in mind it is about 6 inches, even about 8 inches in places. So we'll just see how this little electric lawnmower goes. The first thing I've got to do is assemble the lawnmower because it's kind of in its flat pack mode. The batteries are showing full charge, although I have used them for a quick demonstration before, so they won't last forever. So I suspect to get 15-20 minutes out of them, but I'll just put the thing together. It kind of folds up for storage, so it does take some assembling to undo the thumb wheels and just get it ready to be used, really. Right, the lawnmower's together. You can see you just have to do up these two lower thumb wheels. There's one on each side, and the handle thumb wheels. I've raised it up to about 2 inches between the floor and the grass, so that will give it a fairly easy time. I don't really want to scalp the grass for the first cut because if you look down here it'll be brown underneath, so I'll just do a quick top it, really, just to give it a quick haircut. Before that I'm going to go around with the strimmer just to tidy the edges, really. I find that the lawnmower doesn't get right to the edge, which they never do, so I'll just use the battery powered strimmer, which is this one here. I've done a previous video on it. It's got a fairly simple single blade, which actually works very well. I suspect I'm going to need to get some new line at some point, but it's a very effective little thing. It's certainly no big brush cutter, it's not designed for that, but it's perfect for trimming along the edges of lawns. And it does have the flower guard in here, which I tend to use up because I don't have flowers. So we'll give it a little bash. I just thought I'd just do a quick little follow-up, bit of technical stuff on these things. This is the battery pack. This one is 1.5 amp hour. This one actually came with some other power tools. The strimmer, strimmer and lawnmower actually came with 2 batteries, which is bizarre considering that you actually need 3 to run both these machines together. The batteries they call a power share. They come in 1.5 amp hour, 2 amp hour and 4 amp hour. The mower kit came with 2 amp hour cells. These are the 2 amp hour ones. These ones have actually got a power tester on them. It's showing nearly discharged at the minute. They're actually fairly warm, not super hot, but 30 degrees or so. But I've just been cutting along with them, and they are, of course, inside this rather natty kind of like rain cover, so it obviously keeps the air out, and they do warm up. The strimmer doesn't make the battery warm at all. It's got quite a small power motor. I don't know how many watts it actually is. I ought to do a bit more of a in-depth tear down on them and measure how much power they're actually consuming. I'll do that in a later video. I'm interested to take the power head apart as well, just to see what sort of motor it is. This motor here, it feels like a brushless motor. It's certainly very similar to the way a brushless drone quadcopter kind of motor feels. It's got lots and lots of little cogs, so yeah, it's almost certainly a brushless motor. I've just noticed it's actually got a fan in there as well, which you will not see because it's in shadow. So it's obviously air cooled. Presumably these slots here draw air in, which are now full of grass. Yeah, it's quite a nice design. I have found that the handle is a bit flexible. You can bend it from this point here, which makes, if you want to cut, say, my hedge, I've got like a Cornish stone wall, which is just a bunch of stones with grass and rubbish growing on it. I put the strimmer up and down, kind of like that over it, which I do with my petrol strimmer, and I thought I'd give it a go with this as well. Yeah, you can feel it flexing at this point here. Not the end of the world, I suspect. It looks like it's made of glass fibre reinforced plastic, so it'll be fairly durable. It just feels a little strange when you're used to a large aluminium shaft brush cutter. The lawnmower is much the same kind of design. It has, it's obviously belt driven or gear driven, possibly gear driven, looking at the slop there in the blade. But it's obviously using some kind of reduction. Yeah, this one also cogs, so you can feel this one is quite likely a brushless motor as well. The other thing that I've noticed with this is if you go over, oh, I caught something there in the blade, I made a little nip out of it. If you go over something which requires more energy to cut, it throttles up. So there's obviously a degree of intelligence, either keeping the motor at the same speed or monitoring the current draw, and when the current draw increases it throttles up. That same sequence also makes the power lights, the remain lights, dip down slightly. So if it's on 2 bars and then you go through a particularly thick piece of grass, it'll drop down to 1 of the lights, and then as soon as you clear that, it'll go back up to 2. So there's obviously a degree of voltage sag on the batteries when it's pulling full power. But I suspect I'm going to have to pull this apart at some point and be a little nosy inside to see what's going on. But overall I'm fairly pleased with the construction. I have absolutely no idea what this thing is for. It doesn't really touch the ground, so to me it just seems a kind of pointless thing. It runs on the wheels, and there's a half-inch gap between the wheels and this roller. Certainly on the height I've got it set. So I've got it set to second to maximum height at the minute. So it's probably well clear. I suspect when you got the height right down, this does a degree of rolling, perhaps just to give you those nice lines. But I often find that just the way the blades spin the grass over, they give you the lines anyway. But yeah, I'm fairly happy with it. It's certainly not as powerful as a petrol lawnmower, but actually, considering the size of my lawn, it's more than capable of keeping it short. I would say this is the first cut of the year. Last time I cut it was sometime in October, and it's now down to about 2.5 inches. It was in places touching 8 inches, so yes, it's very, very good. Certainly quite effective, and well worth. I got it on offer. They were, I think it was £169.99 from Argos in the UK here, and that came with the strimmer, 2 batteries and the mower, and a charger which charges both batteries at the same time. So really for 170 quid it was pretty good value. Now that I've trimmed, let's just go and give the lawnmower a go. The lawnmower has an interesting switch arrangement. You have to push this across the key before the lever will engage the motor, otherwise it just sits and flops. So let's just go and give this a little go. It's not struggling with that at all, cuts very easily. Probably due to the blade. Actually, the blade on these is very thin compared to a petrol lawnmower. It's about a 1.5mm thin bit of steel. Normally petrol lawnmowers are about 3 or 4mm. So yeah, this is kind of like a bit like a knife through butter. It does cut very well. So let's do a little return journey. Right, I'll do the rest off camera. It's obviously a little bit boring just watching a lawnmower cut through grass, so I shall come back, show you the finished product. Right, it's been around 15 minutes or so. I've cut about 3/4 of the lawn. Fairly happy with it. It's on the same set of batteries that were in it, and they weren't fully charged, so it's certainly working quite well. I'll show you what the lawn's looking like at the minute. It's no bowling green, but this is just where the grass just kicks out the back of it. I've had quite a few episodes of the chute clogging up. Here's the latest clogging mess. You find that when the grass is really thick and slightly damp, it bunches in the chute here, it doesn't shoot out. But actually, my petrol lawnmower does the same. So it's just the design of these kind of mowers. They rely on a small fan induced air from the blade just to fling the grass out the chute. But on this particular one, it sits quite close, so the grass compacts against here and it just clogs the hole up. But I'm surprised that it's not cut out yet. And the batteries obviously have a safety cut out. When they get too low, they stop producing electric, and it stops the batteries being damaged. But certainly it's worked very well. Considering it's the first cut of the year, I'm quite pleased. So I shall just finish it off now. Right, that's pretty much done. We'll just do a little walk around. Ignore my bonfire tip area there, that will get burnt later in the year. It's certainly nicer than long grass. It does a surprisingly good job, and like I said, it's not run out of batteries yet. It's still on the original charge that it had, so it shows that the batteries that come with it are actually pretty good. They're rated 2 amp hour, so I reckon you get about at least 20 minutes out of it, potentially 30 minutes if it's already cut and you're just trimming the top off. I'm going to put the batteries on charge. I have actually got several sets of those batteries because I use all of their tools, but I shall put these on charge and maybe Tuesday night come out, pick up all the cut clippings, and that'll be the lawn. Just keep on top of it once a fortnight then. If you found it useful, well, I hope you found it useful. Just like if you do, and if you don't, then well, dislike, I guess. Speak to you in the next one.